The theater lights dim, casting long shadows across the America's Got Talent stage as thousands of murmurs settle into a restless buzz. The massive LED screens glow a deep blue, swirling with soft spotlights that move like curious eyes across the audience. A quiet tension hangs in the air, one that every performer feels right in their bones. And tonight, it belongs to a young Filipino boy dressed in a neatly pressed Elvis-inspired outfit. He walks onto the stage with small but steady steps, each one echoing through the entire venue. He looks young, maybe 15 or 16, with hair carefully styled into a classic wave. His shoes shine under the lights, but not nearly as bright as the nervous determination in his eyes. He clutches the microphone stand with both hands, trying to hide the small tremor running through his fingers. The cameras zoom in, capturing everything: the slight quiver of his lips, the rise and fall of his chest, the quiet effort he makes to swallow the lump in his throat. Backstage producers whisper to each other. Even the AGT social media team leans forward, sensing a moment, though not yet knowing what kind. Out in the audience, a few people shift in their seats, already giggling. The outfit, the hairstyle, the oversized buckle on his belt, it all seems a bit too theatrical for someone so young. A couple in the second row share a silent smirk. A teenager pulls out his phone to record, whispering, "Watch, this might be funny." A man in the back chuckles softly, nudging the friend beside him. The judges notice it too. Heidi sits forward, eyebrows raised in polite curiosity. Sophia tilts her head with a half-smile, as if unsure what to expect but willing to be entertained. Howie folds his hands, watching him with a mix of skepticism and interest. But it's Simon, sitting in his iconic lean-back posture, who studies the boy the most carefully. Simon's expression is unreadable, part amusement, part doubt. His eyes narrow slightly, as if he's already imagining the performance going one of two ways, either a surprisingly good moment or a painfully bad one, and truthfully, most of the audience expects the latter. The host, standing just off stage, smiles encouragingly. "You've got this," he mouths quietly, giving a small thumbs up. The boy sees it, gives a tiny nod, then turns back toward the judges. Simon starts the conversation. "Hello there," he says, voice calm but edged with curiosity. "Tell us your name." The boy clears his throat. "My name is Aiden," he answers in a soft Filipino accent. "I'm from Cebu, Philippines," the audience murmurs again. Some impressed, some simply waiting. "And who inspired your look today?" Heidi asks warmly. Aiden smiles shyly. "Elvis Presley. He was my dad's favorite." There's a soft collective awe from a section of the audience, but another group still laughs quietly, as if they believe they already know how this will go. An Elvis impersonation? On AGT? By a kid? It sounds like the setup to a joke. Simon catches the reaction. He glances briefly toward the giggling section of the crowd before returning his attention to the boy. "Well," Simon says, folding his arms, "let's see what you've got." Aiden takes a deep breath. Then another. He steps closer to the microphone. His hands grip it firmly, almost desperately, as if it's the only anchor holding him steady in this vast ocean of lights, eyes, and expectations. The band waits. The sound team hovers, fingers poised above the controls. But before the music begins, something unusual happens. Aiden closes his eyes, not in fear, but in focus. The audience's snickers slowly fade as people notice the shift. His shoulders straighten, his breathing slows. And although he looks young, the stillness in him radiates something older. Something controlled and powerful. A spotlight drops gently over him, turning the rest of the stage into darkness. All at once, the vast AG theater feels like a small room, with this boy standing alone in the center of it. Someone coughs. Another laughs quietly. But the boy doesn't react. He doesn't flinch. He holds his breath and lets the silence wrap around him. For a moment, it seems like he's building a wall, shutting out the noise, doubts, and mocking smiles. Then his fingers relax on the mic. He opens his eyes again, calm, steady, and strangely confident. The musical director raises a hand. A single soft guitar chord echoes through the hall. The air shifts. People straighten in their seats. Camera operators lean in. A hush falls so quickly and naturally that no one even notices it happening. The boy who walked on stage with nervous steps now stands like someone just moments away from revealing something big, something no one expects. Even Simon's eyebrows lift slightly, sensing the change in energy. His chin rises as he studies the boy more closely, eyes narrowing not in skepticism now, but in intrigue. The crowd leans forward, the judges lean forward. Everyone waits for that first note. But in that small pocket of silence just before the music fully begins, something extraordinary happens. The entire room, thousands of people, finally stop laughing. They stop whispering. They stop doubting. They feel the weight of a moment forming, the kind of moment that only happens once in a long while on a stage like this. The boy takes one final quiet inhale. This is it. This is the second where everything changes. Where the Filipino Elvis, once doubted, once laughed at, is about to show America, the judges, and every doubter in the room exactly who he is. The guitar's gentle chord fades into the air like a soft invitation, and for a heartbeat, the entire theater holds still. It's as if the world has paused just to witness what will happen next. Aiden stands perfectly centered under the spotlight, his eyes half closed, his lips poised just inches from the microphone. He inhales slowly, gathering every piece of courage he has ever carried with him, from Cebu, from his family, from every moment he ever sang alone in his room. And then he sings. The first note leaves his lips like a lightning strike disguised as a whisper, smooth, warm, and unbelievably steady. It's the kind of note that you feel before you even understand it. A single, perfect tone that slices through doubt, melts through laughter, and rewrites the entire atmosphere in less than a second. The audience gasps, not loudly but sharply, quietly, collectively. People blink, heads turn. The smirks from before vanish instantly. The same teenager who lifted his phone to record something funny lowers it, jaw dropping slightly. A woman in the third row clutches her chest, eyes widening. Even a few backstage crew members freeze mid-movement, stunned by what just came out of this boy. He continues singing, and with every word his voice settles deeper and deeper into the room. It's rich, it's soulful, it carries a golden vintage tone that reminds everyone unmistakably of Elvis. Yet it isn't imitation, it isn't mimicry, it's familiar but new, classic but young. It's Elvis, but with a Filipino heart beating inside it. Aiden's voice dips into a lower register that echoes with warmth. There's a rasp, a tiny shimmer of vulnerability, like he's singing directly from the part of him that remembers long nights listening to old records with his father. His tone rises again, clean and powerful, filling the theater with a resonance so genuine it sends chills through the audience. The judges feel it first. Heidi's eyes widen as she slowly leans forward, her hand lifting to her mouth in disbelief. Sophia looks at Heidi, then back at Aiden, whispering, "Oh my gosh," so softly that only the camera near her picks it up. Howie blinks several times, confused in the best way, like his brain is trying to catch up with what his ears just heard. But Simon is the one whose reaction changes everything. The moment Aiden hits his first long note, Simon's face shifts. His eyebrows lift, not comically, not exaggeratedly, but in a way that only happens when Simon Cowell is genuinely surprised. He leans forward, elbows on the desk, eyes narrowing but now in fascination, not doubt. His lips part slightly, as if he wants to say something but chooses to keep listening instead. A slow smile begins to curve at the corner of his mouth. Not a full smile, just enough to say, "Wait, something special is happening here." Aiden doesn't see any of this. His eyes are closed again, but not from fear this time. It's as if he's tapping into something deep and private, some emotional place where he sings not for applause but for meaning. He sways slightly as he delivers each line, his hands loosening around the microphone stand, his body relaxing as he realizes he's doing it. The voice inside him, the voice he always wished the world would hear, is finally being heard. In the balcony seats, ripples of whispers spread. Is that really his voice? He sounds like an old soul. Oh my God, he's amazing. The laughter from before, gone, erased, replaced with a kind of collective reverence normally reserved for moments that become memories. When the chorus arrives, he opens his eyes. They aren't shaking now. They burn with something alive. He steps forward, releasing the microphone from the stand, holding it confidently as the music swells beneath him. He sings louder, stronger. The ickness in his voice blooms fully across the auditorium. He nails the high notes with perfect precision, sending waves of electricity through the crowd. Some audience members stand halfway up, unable to help themselves. A few even clutch their hair in disbelief. Aiden lifts his free hand and gestures toward the audience with natural flair. Something Elvis himself would have done, but it doesn't look copied. It looks instinctive, like he's not playing Elvis. He's channeling emotion, style, confidence, all from his own spirit. The energy in the room flips. It's no longer a crowd watching a nervous teenager. It's a crowd witnessing a performer arrive. He glides into a soulful vibrato that vibrates across the floor, sending shivers through rows of people. Sophia presses her hand to her heart. Heidi whispers, "Wow," under her breath. Simon stares like he's watching a miracle unfold. The boy's voice only grows stronger with each moment, weaving nostalgia and freshness into a sound that feels both iconic and brand new. And then, right in the middle of the performance, something magical happens. The audience begins clapping along. Slowly at first, then louder, unified. A wave of support crashes toward him, lifting his confidence even higher. Aiden hears it. He feels it. He straightens, steps toward the judges, and lets out his most powerful note yet, a note so clean, so bold, that people actually gasp again. A woman in the front row wipes away tears, shocked at how a voice like his could come from someone so young. The boy who was laughed at moments ago now has every single person in the theater trembling with awe. He reaches the end of the chorus, holding the final note longer than anyone expects. The room vibrates with it. Lights sweep across the stage as if the entire show is embracing the moment. When he finally releases the note, the silence that follows is deafening. Pure, thick, stunned silence. Then, the crowd erupts. The theater explodes into applause, cheers, whistles, people rising to their feet, judges stand, cameras shake from the intensity, energy floods every corner of the building. And Aiden, still clutching the microphone, opens his eyes wide. He sees the crowd, his lips tremble. Only now does he understand what he's done. He hasn't just impressed AGT, he has stunned them. He has rewritten their expectations. This moment, this single extraordinary moment, has officially changed everything. The applause from Aiden's powerful chorus still echoes across the massive AGT theater, bouncing off the walls like thunder. The audience isn't just clapping, they're roaring, cheering, shouting his name, as if they've known him their whole lives. The judges are on their feet, hands raised, eyes wide with awe. But Aiden doesn't stop. The music continues, and with it, the electricity in the room swells like a storm ready to break. As the instrumental builds, he steps center stage again. His breathing steadies, his eyes glimmer beneath the bright lights, and the confidence radiating from him feels nothing like the nervous boy who walked out moments ago. His feet start to move, not in big choreographed motions, but in subtle, soulful glides reminiscent of classic Elvis. The crowd screams at the familiar charisma, but it's still entirely Aiden's style, youthful, effortless, and overflowing with authenticity. The camera zooms in tight on his face. His expression is pure emotion, focused, passionate, and glowing with the realization that he is, right now, in the middle of the greatest moment of his life. Sweat glistens on his forehead, but he doesn't notice. He's lost in the music, lost in the energy, lost in the freedom of being finally truly seen. He lifts the microphone, transitions into the final section of the song, and his voice rises again, higher, clearer, more powerful than before. The entire room holds its breath. Each note wraps around the crowd like warmth, like nostalgia, like magic. The melody soars through the theater as if carried on invisible wings. In the front row, a man places his hand over his heart, tears gathering in the corners of his eyes. A mother hugs her young son tightly as they watch. Backstage, contestants waiting their turn lean toward the monitors, shocked and inspired by what they're hearing. Even the camera crew turns their heads away from their equipment, unable to stop watching. Aiden's voice deepens, then climbs, filling the entire hall with a resonance that feels like it comes from the depths of his soul. He sings not just to impress, but to honor every dream, every struggle, and every sacrifice that led him here. Each word carries weight. Each phrase feels like it's meant for every person listening. Each moment burns into memory. As he nears the final chorus, the lighting transforms. Golden beams shoot upward from the floor, sweeping around him like ribbons of sunlight. The stage glows brighter and brighter, reflecting in the eyes of every audience member. The judges look around, stunned, as if they're witnessing something historic. Then comes the closing note. Aiden grips the microphone with both hands, plants his feet, and unleashes a final breathtaking note that grows stronger, louder, fuller with every second. It stretches across the air like a bridge connecting him to every soul in the room. The sound shakes the floor, vibrates through the seats, and seems to rise beyond the rafters of the theater. People gasp, some cry. Others simply stare in disbelief, unable to process what they're hearing. He holds the note, and holds it, and holds it, until it finally melts into silence. A silence so powerful, so charged, that it feels like time LF has stopped. For one long, suspended second, no one moves. Then, the entire theater explodes. The crowd rises to their feet instantly, screaming his name, clapping, howling. The roar is overwhelming, crashing over him like a tidal wave. The judges stand taller, waving their arms, celebrating. Sophia claps above her head, shouting, "Bravo!" Heidi covers her face with both hands, overwhelmed. Howie points at him excitedly, shouting something lost in the noise. But it's Simon. Simon Cowell stands slowly, deliberately, straightening his shirt, eyes locked on Aiden. His expression is different, not just impressed, not just pleased, but deeply, genuinely moved. He places both hands on the desk, leans forward and nods with a look that performers dream of their entire lives. Then he does something unexpected. He reaches back and slams the golden buzzer. Aiden's world erupts. The iconic golden lights explode overhead. Confetti blasts from every direction, raining down in shimmering streams. The entire room glows with radiant gold as the audience screams even louder. The confetti falls around Aiden like a golden storm, swirling in the lights, sticking to his hair, his clothes, the microphone, his cheeks. He gasps, eyes going wide. His knees buckle slightly, but he steadies himself, staring upward as if witnessing a dream become real right before him. Tears well in his eyes, not from sadness, but from overwhelming disbelief and joy. The host rushes onto the stage, laughing and cheering, wrapping Aiden in a giant hug. Aiden trembles, overwhelmed by everything hitting him at once, the confetti, the cheers, the lights, the reality that Simon Cowell just hit the golden buzzer for him. Simon walks onto the stage too, shaking his head in total amazement. He puts a hand on Aiden's shoulder and says something that gets lost under the roar, but the camera picks up two clear words. "You're incredible." Aiden can barely breathe. Tears stream down his cheeks as he looks out into the crowd. This same crowd that once laughed when he first walked out. Now they cheer for him like a hero. The Filipino teen who was doubted moments earlier now stands under a golden rain, his face glowing with triumph. The judges wave at him, the audience chants his name, and the entire theater feels like it's witnessing the rise of the next global sensation. This isn't just a performance anymore. It's history. It's the moment AGT, and everyone watching around the world, will never forget.